Shalom and welcome to the Valley of Decision. This video is for the playlist The Name Game, and it's part 2 on Baal and Adonai. Now, I just want to say something briefly about the nature of this channel. The majority of the videos are going to be fairly basic in terms of, just looking at the gospel or the good news. My goal is to share the information that I found in researching and studying to gain my testimony around the truthfulness of the real identity of the Hebrews, namely that they're the descendants of the so-called African slave trade, and the research and information that I gained in studying and getting my testimony around the true name of the Almighty Yahuwah and His Son, our Messiah Yahushua. So for those who have been on this road for a few years, this might be old school, okay? But maybe you'll hear some information that you can share with others, or you can just direct any newcomers to this channel. But I'm leaving the deeper doctrines and principles to those Hebrews who are, quote, weaned from the milk, okay? Those are the ones that are eating bread and tofu. Sorry, but I'm a vegetarian. Okay, so just to recap what I shared in part 1. The Hebrew word Adon or Adonay means Lord and Master, okay, and it was used as a title for the Almighty. And while there might not seem to be a problem with that in and of itself, Adon or Adonai is a synonym for Baal. Okay, now Baal also means Lord and Master, and this is where the name game comes in. Baal is also the name of a Canaanite deity. So basically, our ancestors did not eradicate Baal worship from the land of the covenant, but instead they married into the Canaanite tribes and began to practice Baal worship. Many of the prophets and scribes began tricking the people, getting them to use the word Adonai, knowing that it was synonymous with Lord, i.e. Baal. And that is why the Almighty told Jeremiah that, quote, they have forgotten my name for Baal. Okay, now something else I want to point out is that in the Strong's Concordance, number 136, we find that Adonai, means Lord par excellence, or another way of saying Lord overall. And this is the same for Adon. And in English, those are the times in the scriptures where you see the word Lord printed in all capital letters, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. That is when they're using it in that context. So, okay, right now I just want to go over just how insidious this name game was within the Hebrew kingdoms, and how Peebles, the editor of the African Concordance Encyclopedia that goes with the African Heritage Study Bible, basically his observation was right when he says that Baal worship created most of the problems for the Hebrew kingdoms. Baal worship was very strong in the northern kingdom, Israel. And there's actually a very good article in Zondervan's Pictorial Encyclopedia of the Bible. It explains how Jeroboam basically forced the people in that kingdom to take up Baal worship just so they wouldn't have to make pilgrimage to Jerusalem to the temple, and possibly drawn into supporting Rehoboam, who was king of Judah at that time. And you can read about all that in 1 Kings chapter 12. Now, from the articles that I've read and the accounts in the scriptures, it's apparent that Baal worship was deeply entrenched within the population, especially in the northern kingdom, Israel. And it was made even more popular by Jezebel, she was not a Hebrew, okay? And she was what I just call her a Baal enthusiast, okay? So it's important to keep that in mind, okay? How else can I say it? Okay, our people took possession of a land where Baal worship was an organic or an indigenous religious practice. Baal, that pantheon of Baal gods, that they were associated and connected to the livelihood, and for most of them it was agriculture. And the people honestly believed that the Baal pantheon of deities, that they made it rain, that they grew their crops for them, and it was through them that they were given a bounteous harvest. I mean, this was what they actually believed. And so the Hebrews, who were a nomadic, warlike culture, they came into this area, took control of the area, and settled down. They adopted this agrarian culture. They married into it, and that was the part that was in direct opposition to what the Almighty commanded. Now, okay, I'm going to read a quote from the article in the Zondervan Encyclopedia. And in this article, they use the word Yahweh, okay, which is another false name, and we'll be doing another video on that one. But, okay, I'm just going to read it as it's written. In the process of time, their Yahweh worship became Canaanized, and although Yahweh continued to be worshipped, the attributes used became, the attributes and even the name of Baal became attached to him. These syncretistic tendencies are illustrated both in editorial comment and actual example. They also are reflected in such theophoric names as Jerubbaal, Baaliada, Eshbaal, and Meribal. The Samaria Ostraka, dating from circa 780 BC, show that this tendency was particularly prominent in the northern kingdom. For every 2 names in the list compounded with the name of Yahweh, 1 was formed with Baal. The northern kingdom was more susceptible to the inroads of the native Canaanite cults than was the more isolated and largely agricultural kingdom of Judah. Thus, Israel sustained the deliberate attempt by the Phoenician princess Jezebel to obliterate Yahweh worship and make Baal the official god. Okay, and I just wanted to read that part there. Okay, but this is pretty much what the prophet Elijah was dealing with. Why he was in hiding, and why he finally took the drastic actions that he did. You know, just attempting to root out Baal worship in the kingdom of Israel. And remember, this was an insidious and vile religion that included sexual prostitution of the men and the women, and it even included child sacrifice, okay? And this is probably why we read in the scriptures that when they speak of Jeroboam, the king of Israel, they generally follow it with the phrase, who caused the people to sin a great sin. Okay, and once Baal worship took hold, it was never completely eradicated, and the tragic end of this is that the kingdom of Israel was conquered by the Assyrians and taken into captivity. Okay, and to this day they are known as the 10 lost tribes. Okay, so maybe now you can see how daunting the righteous prophets' task was. Those prophets like Elijah and Elisha, what they were up against, okay? And add to that, I mean, you've also got that cultural clash, okay? But add on top of that, you've got the name game, okay? And our own prophets and scribes fell into Baal worship, and they began slipping in synonyms for the Canaanite deity into the living oracles of the Almighty. And that's just like, man, I don't know, that's vicious, okay? So what that means is, like, if you're at the temple for Shabbat worship, okay, and everyone is saying adonay, which in all honesty means Lord, okay, but it is also a local colloquialism for the agricultural god Baal, well, how can you distinguish those who are worshiping Baal and those who are worshiping the Almighty? You can't, okay? Hence the Almighty's words to Jeremiah, quote, their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. Okay, and this is why sacred namers do not use the words or titles Lord or Adonai. It's a carryover of that ancient name game that our people were victims of, and it's one of the reasons we fell under the punishments. Okay, and there's more on the word Adonai, which I haven't gotten into, and I'll probably do a part 3 of that. But now it should be apparent why sacred namers take this topic so serious. We need to shed light on the subject, bring people to an awareness of just the duplicity that they are still victims to. And one of the things that I'm doing, and there is a ministry, the Biblical Hebrews of the Bible, they're also doing it. I'm making up stickers and flyers and posters, which can be transferred to t-shirts, coffee mugs, computer mouse pads, whatever. But they are we're doing it there too. Just it's publish Yahuwah, okay? And so basically I've created the templates, okay? So we have them for sale. So if you would like to have them printed up again on a t-shirt or a mouse pad, just get in contact with me and let me know. Or if you want a sticker in a different color, just also contact me. And I don't know, I said this before, a lot of people use stickers and buttons as a way to spread messages. Save the whales, support Senator so-and-so, vote for proposition whatever, or don't vote for proposition whatever. But, you know, I mean, we can do the same thing. Put a sticker up on a bulletin board at the public library or at a coffee shop. Mail a postcard to a friend, and they'll see it, but, you know, so will the people working at the post office. And here's one of them that, oh yeah, I said I was going to do this one. This was talking to one of the sisters in the ministry there, and she came up with this phrase, honk. I think hers was honk twice if you love Yahuwah. But so I'm making up one of the bumper stickers, but this is it, honk if you love Yahuwah. But I thought I would just put this in here. But at any rate, I don't think that you can say too much about the importance of calling on the Almighty in prayer, okay? And so there's a saying, prayer changes things. And I just saw a mini lecture by a Hebrew congregation out of Chicago about praying and fasting. And one of the things that helps is praying to the Almighty and not to a false god that, you know, some wicked pastor or some ignorant priest has, you know, been tricked into worshiping, and they got you worshiping it too, you know. And so I think that this just the name game, getting the people duped into calling on false gods, that is one of the main reasons for Yahushua's prophecy in Matthew chapter 7, okay? There will be people who won't understand why he is not confessing them before the Father or mediating on their behalf, and they're going to be asking, Lord, didn't we prophesy in that name, and didn't we do all these great miracles? And he's just going to say straight up, I never knew you, okay? And I don't know. Now I know that that there's a lot to that particular passage and prophecy. It goes beyond people calling on false names, or, you know, but being tricked into thinking that they're calling on the Messiah, okay? But, I mean, it does cover that also. And just basically, he's not going to know these people for two distinct reasons. And one of the reasons being that they never knew his name and never called on him in prayer, even though they thought that they were. And that's, again, that's why this is a name game. So if you have friends or loved ones that you want to wake up, or, you know, just for yourself, I mean, you can use these postcards. Again, you saw some of them are small and round, that they can be used for buttons or for just smaller stickers. And it's just a way to share the good news, okay? And again, just contact me by leaving a message in my inbox here on my YouTube channel or through my page at the Biblical Hebrews website. And I think that we're going to show, I think Sister Georgia has put some of them up on the front page of their website, so you can also contact her. And we're selling them for $1 a piece with a minimum purchase of 15, and you can get up to 25 for $25. And the reason we're making a minimum purchase is that, I mean, if you buy one postcard, I mean, come on, it's going to cost you more to mail that than to, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. It's just, there's just a loss of money. So a $15 minimum purchase. But and again, I think, you know, with Easter being right around the corner, it's a perfect time to just start getting the word out, okay? Yahushua said that those who will confess his name before men, he'll confess them before the Father. And I think that definitely, if we have a love for Yahushua and our Father, Yahuwah, that we need to publish his name. And this is a way to do it. It is a way to start conversation, to stimulate dialogue. And we have an obligation, once we know the truth, to testify and witness to people. Because you never know, you might not see an immediate result, but 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, or 5 years down the line, that seed may sprout. And that person may hear the message again, and at that time be a little bit more prepared. And what might have helped them would be the conversation that you had with them X number of years before that, when they saw you with a sticker, or, you know, a t-shirt on, or a bumper sticker on your car, or a button on your backpack. And it's our responsibility and our obligation to magnify and glorify Abba Yahuwah and all that he's done for us. And so with that, I say shalom, and be prepared for part 3. Okay.